Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Colin Murphy.
And I'm Jennifer Berry, a teammate, a friend, and a classmate.
Those were just a few words used to describe Hastings College student Brad Kusitis tonight. Kusitis, the wrestler, and his mother were killed over the weekend in Kansas when their car was hit by a train. Tonight, Hastings College students gathered to remember a student they described as a gentle giant.
News 5's Colin Murphy is live at Big GA's in Hastings with this story. Colin.
Jen, look at some of this stuff here. We got waters in this truck, a semi full of Gatorade as well, and some pillows, all for the people of Joplin, Missouri. Thanks to the guys here from the Hastings A's, and we're joined by Dr. Bowen from Hastings Orthopedics. It was a similar scene here in Nebraska, too. Fort Niobrara National Wildlife Refuge officials rounded up hundreds of bison in preparation for auction next month. KNOP's Beatrice Rayner reports, and she says it's a sight to see.
So no really
and
great
it's
rain
scary
chances,
because you see it right there, and then a couple days later you don't see any percentage of a chance.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's going to dry out. High pressure is going to set back up. Temperatures will gradually warm, maybe getting back to around low 90s beginning of next week. So again, not extreme heat. So that's the one. That's the good news. But the other side of the argument, we need the rain, and it doesn't look like we're going to be getting much of it here in the next week.
All right. Thank you so much, Joe.
No problem.
Well, coming up later here on News 5 at 6, we'll show you a new building in London that is taller now than Elizabeth Tower.
You're probably wanting Elizabeth Tower. That's the old Big Ben. But first, Bob Carey calling out Deb Fischer. The two are set to debate once later this summer. That's not enough in Carey's mind. There's one specific issue he wants to discuss. That's next on News 5 at 6. Of course, with the hot temperatures and the lack of rain, farmers are relying on their irrigation systems and the water level at Nebraska's largest lake, feeling the effects. Officials at the Central Nebraska Public Power and Irrigation District predict it's not over yet. They say Lake McConaughey could drop 20 feet this year if the weather remains dry. The lake is dropping about 1.5 to 2 feet per week. The amount of water flowing into the lake from snowmelt has been less than half the average amount, but more water is being released. Last year, Lake McConaughey was nearly full. Now the lake is only about 74% full. Western Nebraska, they got some well-needed rain last night, but not enough really to make a difference.
Jen, it is a lot about the concerts and the food, but can't forget about the games. It's one of the best parts. That's where I'm at right now, and Patricia's here. I guess it's going to be a little competition. I hope she doesn't show me up the popular dart game. Jen, I'm a little nervous because a lot of people have been winning prizes, so I need to go home with a prize. Let's see how I do. 3 darts, 1 balloon. All I got to do is hit one and I get a prize.
Across the country, a number of archdioceses in the Catholic Church are dealing with sex abuse scandals. Now sex abuse allegations are being brought against one Nebraska priest. Deacon Timothy McNeil, Chancellor of the Archdiocese of Omaha, says the allegation against Reverend Franklin Dvorak was brought to their attention at the end of March. He's accused of sexually abusing a female student from 1970 to 1972. Dvorak was placed on leave Friday from St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Parish in Omaha. He was appointed pastor there in 2007. McNeil says Dvorak was at Sacred Heart Parish in Norfolk at the time of the alleged abuse. He says the claim has been deemed credible by a review board. Dvorak denies the allegation. Family of Anthony Bloom gathered together for the 24-year-old teacher's funeral. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Colin Murphy.
And I'm Jennifer Berry. Well-known and respected Broken Bow teacher and basketball coach Anthony Bloom was laid to rest today.
It was obvious how well-respected he was today. Last Friday, Bloom was killed in a car crash in Ansley while on the way back from a basketball camp. His funeral was held at Trinity Lutheran Church in Hildreth and brought thousands of people together this afternoon. News 5's Dara Newsom was at the funeral today and is live in the studio. Dara, a strong turnout for Anthony Bloom. Another portion of this groundbreaking study is to put this electronet onto my head, have me do various tests, and then they'll be able to see how my brain reacts on this data computer right here.
Absolutely love it.
Reminds me of when there's free food in the newsroom, just a herd of people around here.
So in good comparison, isn't it? Well, coming up after weather.
Lincoln. Our citizens just have to say, this is enough. We're not going to pay you another dime.
The Hastings mayor is not happy with the EPA. We'll tell you why and what could happen on Monday. More bad news for ranchers, why they shouldn't expect any help from Congress anytime soon. And we're live outside City Hall in Grand Island with the latest from today's special council meeting. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Colin Murphy. Jennifer Berry is off tonight. Drama continues at Grand Island City Hall. It's become an everyday soap opera. No city fire chief, Mayor Vavricek asking City Administrator Mary Lou Brown to resign. then asking her to come back to work. But the biggest twist is City Council calling a special censure meeting to cover the unusual situation between them and the mayor. We have live team coverage at City Hall, beginning with News 5's Katie Gothier. And Katie, a lot was said inside chambers, but after the meeting, everyone pretty hush-hush, right?
That's right, Colin. The meeting just ended about 20 minutes ago. It began at 4 o'clock, and the tension was very high. We're here still at City Hall in Grand Island. As that meeting just ended, the council members held a special meeting to censor the mayor. It began with City Attorney Bob Civic, who first went over the legality of the censor. He first said that it actually is not. He said that it wasn't valid or legal. And he came to the conclusion that the censure is actually personal or political, meaning he sees it as improper and illegal and that it should not have been held. Now, right after that, we heard from Council President Peg Gilbert, and she says, well, we thank you for your input, but we see it very differently. And the community is involved, but he's not listening, is basically what the council is saying. They have respect for the mayor, but they want him to listen to what they are saying. The censor statement is a public statement about a decision, and the main decision was about City Attorney Mary Lou Brown. And she was in attendance today. She was sitting in her normal seat right next to the mayor throughout the entire meeting. And the meeting did get heated between Mayor Vavricek and Peg Gilbert, as well as Chuck Hazy and the mayor as well. So there was a lot of tension. We even tried to get interviews right afterwards, and the council members left. Nobody really wanted to talk about the situation. We also had fire department and police officials here on hand. They didn't want to talk about the issue as well.
We also have Dara Newsom there live with our coverage. And Dara, if you can hear me, I guess the question, what's been the reaction from Mayor Vavricek? What has he been saying? Obviously didn't say much after, but during the meeting, what did he have to say?
Well, a lot of the council members say that they knew nothing about the resignation of Mary Lou Brown. Mayor Jay Vavricek says that that's not true. He actually had a conversation with President Peg Gilbert telling her that this would happen. She says that that's not the case. A lot of he say, she say back and forth, but they're not happy with how the mayor has handled the entire situation. They feel that he's kind of done things behind closed doors, hasn't notified them about the fact that he asked Mary Lou Brown to resign, she accepted, and then asked her to come back. They're not happy with that at all. In fact, one of the council members said that if she remains there, there's going to be some huge problems in City Hall.
Dara, also, did anyone from the public come out and speak at this meeting?
There were a couple of people that came out. Actually, the son-in-law of Mayor Jay Vavricek came out. Jeb Wolfslavin came out also.
And also, we mentioned this meeting. Was there any decision made? How did this meeting end, and where do we go from here? Anyone saying anything down there?
Well, really, they just basically had the conversation. They laid it out on the table, laid out their feelings. The motion was made that they basically would move forward from this. It appears that Mary Lou Brown will remain at City Hall going forward until September 30th.
All right, live coverage down there at City Hall. An interesting afternoon with the special meeting with City Council. Thanks, Dara. Thanks, Katie. Well, we finished out the work week with another day of sunshine and heat with temperatures in the 90s, but we could get a change. Meteorologist Joe Thompson joins us from the Skywatch 5 Weather Center. Joe, I heard talk of a cool down this weekend, but maybe some rain first.
Yeah, the cold front that's going to bring that cool down is going to be moving through tonight, and it's along that cold front that we do expect some scattered showers and thunderstorms, and some of which could be on the severe side. Storm Prediction Center does have a slight risk out for many places north of Interstate 80 for tonight. The main concern is going to be storms capable of producing 60 to 70 mile per hour winds and golf ball size hail up to about 1.75 inches in diameter. And within the past hour, we are now starting to see storms fire up across far north central Nebraska, right along the South Dakota border. And we do have our first severe thunderstorm warning that's currently in effect for eastern Keapaha and western Boyd County. That goes until 7 p.m. Central Time. Main concern is going to be 1.5 inches hail and also gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour. So this is just the start of what will probably be a fairly active night, especially across northern Nebraska. Here is that cold front that's going to be working its way on through. Here in the Tri-Cities, we'll be quiet for the first half of the evening, but the chances for storms will arrive here around midnight or so. And then after that, that cooler air rushes in. We'll have all the details in your full Skywatch 5 forecast here in a few minutes. Colin.
Corn prices are on pace for a record year, and so are crop insurance losses. With nearly half of the continental United States under severe drought conditions, crop insurance losses are mounting daily. Economists with the National Crop Insurance Service estimate that losses could top $20 billion. Taxpayers will ultimately shoulder most of the nation's scorched fields. The federal government pays on average 60 cents of every dollar of premiums sold for crop insurance. According to the USDA, the government recorded $11.9 billion worth of crop insurance premiums last year. As the drought continues, it looks like cattle and sheep ranchers will get no help from Congress, at least not until they get back from their 5-week recess. Yesterday, we told you about the House's 223 to 197 vote to revive expired disaster relief programs. Today, we're learning that the Senate will not act on the bill until they return from their August break. Democrats in the Senate essentially told the House members to vote on the Senate's 5-year extension of the Farm Bill, which also needs voted on before it expires at the end of September. The House's version of a Farm Bill extension is more of a short-term fix. The Environmental Protection Agency is planning on drilling holes in downtown Hastings, but not if Hastings Mayor Vern Powers has anything to say about it. He's angry to be the last to know, saying the EPA did not ask permission or discuss their intentions. According to the mayor, he found out yesterday through back channels from City of Hastings employees that the EPA would begin digging Monday. Mayor Powers wrote a letter to the EPA, which was also sent to Governor Heineman and others, voicing his frustration. There are 11 green circles painted across downtown Hastings, marking where the EPA would potentially drill. The EPA wants to test the groundwater for contaminants, the mayor says specifically dry cleaning residue.
We need to talk about what they're doing, because every time they come here to do something, it costs the citizens of our town lots of money. We've spent $30–40 million over the last 28 years on different kinds of these things, these great ideas. And you know what? Our citizens just have to say, this is enough. We're not going to pay you another dime.
Mayor Powers says he will do whatever he can to keep them from drilling Monday. He even notified the Hastings police. The mayor has not heard back from the EPA. Coming up later on News 5 at 6, local businesses are stepping up and stuffing the back-to-school school bus for local students.